Hey there, my friend. As a wise Jewish guy who's seen life's ups and downs, I've watched people rise from nothing to legends and others squander everything. What makes the difference? Not luck or background. It's habits, those daily actions shaping destiny like bricks in a house. In Jewish families, we honor elders' words, backed by generations of experience. One said, "Fate is habits. See daily routines to predict 20 years ahead." I dismissed it young, but it's true. Weak folks complain, delay, blame, habits eroding slowly like rust. I've seen smart friends ruined by procrastination, but others flipped fates by ditching complaints, acting now, owning life. In this video, explore 10 destructive habits. Spot them in you. It's your strength start. Stick to the end. The sneakiest ruin generations. As Jewish wisdom says, strong conquers self. Let's mirror truth. Today, uncover why life stalls and how to change. All right, pal. Let's dive right into the heart of it. These are the habits that subtly make someone weak and hold them back from their potential. And if you spot any echoing in your own life, celebrate it as a golden opportunity to make a positive shift and reclaim your power. First on the list, the deeply ingrained habit of complaining endlessly. Weak individuals seem to always scout for reasons to grumble about the unpredictable weather ruining their plans, the government's policies holding them back, a demanding boss making work miserable, a spouse who doesn't understand, or even nosy neighbors stirring up trouble. They channel their precious energy not into brainstorming solutions or taking proactive steps, but into a cycle of venting and negativity that drains them dry. I vividly remember one neighbor from my younger days. Every single morning when our paths crossed at the local store, he'd launch into his routine lament with something like, "Oh, life is just so burdensome these days," repeating it almost like a scripted prayer or mantra. Yet, in all those encounters, I never once heard him pivot to a constructive thought, such as, "I'm going to try something to improve this situation." Drawing from the profound depths of Jewish wisdom, there's a saying that resonates here. Complaining is essentially like offering a prayer to invite more failure into your life. If you truly aspire to build inner strength, the key is to break free from this pattern of complaints. Instead, pause and challenge yourself with the empowering question: what small thing can I take action on right this moment to make a difference? Second, the notorious habit of procrastinating, putting off what needs doing. Weak people have a special affection for the elusive concept of tomorrow, using it as a crutch with phrases like, "I'll kick off my new life routine tomorrow," or "I'll finally hit the gym starting tomorrow," or "I'll make that important call tomorrow," or even, "I'll begin learning that new skill or language tomorrow." But here's the harsh reality. These tomorrows stack up and morph into wasted years, leaving dreams unfulfilled and potential untapped. I once collaborated closely with a man who harbored big ambitions of launching his own business venture. He possessed the startup capital, a wealth of innovative ideas, and even a network of willing supporters ready to back him up. However, he was perpetually trapped in a loop of hesitation, insisting, "I need to think it all through a bit more first." Fast forward 15 long years, and that promising business remained nothing more than a distant, unmaterialized dream, gathering dust in the corners of his mind. Always keep this timeless piece of advice in your pocket. The absolute best moment to plant a tree that could shade future generations was 20 years ago, but the next best moment is right here and now, today. Have you found yourself repeatedly whispering tomorrow as an excuse? What if you seized this very instant to break that cycle and take even a tiny step forward? Third habit to watch out for: the corrosive practice of harboring envy toward others. Envy acts like a slow-burning poison that seeps into the soul, eroding joy from within. A weak person catches sight of someone else's accomplishments or good fortune and immediately spirals into thoughts like, "Why couldn't that be me? It's so unfair." They let this inner fire consume them, rather than choosing to celebrate the achievement and extract valuable lessons from it to fuel their own progress. I knew a merchant in my community who constantly envied his neighboring stall owner, whose business was flourishing with steady customers and growth. Instead of channeling that energy into enhancing his own products, scouting for fresh clientele, or innovating his approach, he simply stewed in resentment and bitterness. In the end, his own shop shuttered its doors for good, a victim of neglected opportunities. Envy doesn't just stall you, it actively destroys from the inside out. True strength emerges when you learn to genuinely rejoice in others' successes, understanding that shared joy has a way of multiplying and circling back to enrich your own life, whereas envy only leaves scorched earth in its wake. Take a moment to reflect. When was the most recent time envy distracted you from focusing on your own path and personal development? Fourth on our list, the paralyzing habit of fearing risk and uncertainty. Weak individuals tend to cling desperately to their familiar comfort zones, even when those zones are stifling or harmful, preferring the known misery over the potential rewards of venturing into the unknown. I recall a promising young man who was presented with a golden ticket, an opportunity to study abroad, complete with all the paperwork in order, a generous scholarship to cover costs, and even arranged housing waiting for him. Everything aligned perfectly, yet he backed away at the last moment, gripped by doubt, muttering, "What if it all falls apart and doesn't work out?" He chose to stay put, and for the rest of his days, that decision haunted him with waves of regret for the paths not taken. A person of strength recognizes that risk is an inherent part of life's adventure. Yes, you might stumble and lose occasionally, but without embracing some level of uncertainty, you'll never taste the sweetness of victory or discovery. Our Jewish stories are rich with examples of forebears who boldly risked everything, from Abraham leaving his homeland to the Maccabees standing against empires, for the promise of a better tomorrow. What's one risk lurking in your life right now that, if embraced, could unlock new horizons and growth for you? Moving right along, buddy. Let's uncover more of these subtle yet powerful habits that keep people trapped in weakness, pulling from my own observations and the timeless reservoir of Jewish wisdom that stresses the importance of self-reflection and purposeful action in overcoming personal flaws. Fifth, in our exploration, the self-sabotaging habit of constantly blaming others for your troubles. Weak folks are quick to play the blame game, pointing fingers outward. Maybe it's their parents' faulty upbringing that set them back, or the flawed system in their country holding everyone down, or a spouse who's somehow obstructing their progress, or friends who failed to offer the right support at crucial moments. But here's the critical flaw in that mindset. As long as you're fixated on assigning fault to external sources, you're essentially surrendering the steering wheel of your own life, allowing circumstances to dictate your direction instead of taking command. There's a profound phrase that captures this perfectly. If you're perpetually on the hunt for someone else to blame, you'll remain enslaved to those very circumstances for the rest of your days. True strength shines through when you embrace full responsibility for your path. Even in situations where others might indeed share some culpability, you pivot to asking yourself, what steps can I personally take right now to turn this around and make improvements? In my own journey, there were times when I fell into the trap of external blame for my setbacks, but once I shifted to owning my role, doors began to open and real change took root. Take a second to introspect. Who or what are you currently blaming for a challenge in your life, and how might that be limiting your ability to move forward? Sixth habit to be wary of: the aimless drift of living without a clear purpose or direction. Weak individuals often meander through their days without any guiding compass. They go through the motions of working to pay bills, eating to sustain themselves, sleeping to recharge. But they lack that deeper why that infuses meaning into it all, making them vulnerable to every gust of wind that comes along and knocks them off balance. I once casually asked a young fellow, "What's the big purpose or goal driving your life forward?" His response was a shrug and a vague, "I don't really know. I just want to live a normal, comfortable life." But let me tell you, aiming for normal without specificity is like setting sail without a destination. It leads you nowhere fast, turning you into a vessel adrift, susceptible to crashing against unforeseen rocks. Strength, on the other hand, is cultivated by defining even a modest but crystal-clear objective that lights your way. In our Jewish tradition, we're taught to live with intention and purpose, much like fulfilling daily mitzvot, commandments, that connect us to something greater and give structure to our actions. So, here's a gentle prompt for you. What's one specific, achievable goal you could establish right now to give your days more direction and momentum? Seventh on the roster, The limiting habit of overly depending on the opinions and approvals of others. Weak people often find themselves living a life scripted by external voices, making choices based on what their parents demand, what neighbors gossip about, or what colleagues expect, all while trembling at the thought of facing criticism or disapproval. I witnessed this firsthand with a talented young man who harbored a genuine passion for music. He had an undeniable gift for it, composing melodies that could touch the soul. However, his well-meaning parents dismissed it as frivolous and unstable, insisting instead that he pursue a practical career like accounting for security. He caved to their pressure, and when our paths crossed years later, he was entrenched in that job, earning a steady paycheck. But his once vibrant eyes had lost their light. He was merely existing in a shell of what could have been, not truly living out his potential. The truth is, people will always have something to say, regardless of your choices. Strength comes from tuning into your own inner voice and heart's calling, while weakness bows to the clamor of the crowd. Reflect for a moment. Have you ever altered your course or abandoned a dream simply because of what others might think or say about it? Eighth habit that quietly undermines. The stubborn resistance to fearing and embracing change. Weak individuals often idolize stability above all else, clinging to it fiercely even when it's clearly toxic or stagnant, dreading the uncertainty that comes with any shift in their routine or circumstances. I knew someone who endured a dead-end job for over 2 decades, meager pay that barely covered basics, coupled with disrespectful treatment from superiors that chipped away at his dignity day by day. When I gently probed, "Why not explore other options and move on?" his response was laced with fear. What if the next place turns out even worse? But let's be real. Change isn't just inevitable. It's the very essence of growth and life itself. The world around us is in constant flux, evolving with new technologies, ideas, and opportunities, and if you refuse to adapt alongside it, you risk becoming as rigid and obsolete as a stone forgotten by time. Our rich Jewish history is a testament to this, filled with narratives of adaptation, from surviving exiles to rebuilding communities in new lands, showing that embracing change with faith can lead to renewal. So, here's a question to spark some thought. What's one area in your life where you're resisting change out of fear, and how might stepping into it open up fresh possibilities for you? Let me wrap this up by sharing a heartfelt story from my early days, friend. One that ties back to the profound Jewish wisdom emphasizing resilience and self-conquest. When I was just a boy, my grandfather, a man steeped in our traditions, would often repeat a timeless proverb: "The truly strong individual isn't the one who never stumbles or falls. Rather, it's the one who tumbles 7 times, yet rises 8, undeterred." Back then, as a wide-eyed child, I didn't fully grasp the layers of meaning in those words. They seemed like a simple encouragement, but as the years accumulated, and I navigated my own share of setbacks and victories, I came to appreciate their depth. I've observed people who shatter irreparably after a single defeat, crumbling under the weight, and contrasted them with those who endure repeated knocks, dusting themselves off each time to try anew, pushing forward with renewed vigor. These are the ones who ultimately forge unbreakable strength, mastering not external foes, but their inner battles. We often mistakenly believe that strength equates to physical prowess, authoritative power, or abundant wealth. But that's far from the truth. Genuine strength resides in the quiet art of self-management. It's the resolve to declare, "I will no longer indulge in complaints that drain my spirit," the discipline to rise early, even when the bed calls you back, and the bravery to confront fears head-on by stepping boldly into uncharted territories. I know firsthand that among you listening right now, there are those grappling with challenging seasons. Perhaps you've recently lost a job that's left you adrift, or you're entangled in complicated relationships that drain your energy, or maybe you're simply sensing that life's vibrant moments are slipping past unnoticed, and in those quiet moments of doubt, you might whisper to yourself, "It's probably too late to turn things around now." But hear me clearly, my friend. It's never too late, not even close. It's never too late to vow against further procrastination, to craft meaningful goals that ignite your path, or to embark on an entirely fresh chapter filled with possibility and renewal. I've been privileged to witness remarkable transformations. Individuals in their 60s diving into new skills or careers with fresh enthusiasm, Folks in their 70s boldly launching businesses that reflect lifelong passions, and even those in their 80s discovering deep love and companionship that enriches their later years. Strength isn't confined to the vigor of youth or the illusion of flawlessness. It's about remaining vibrantly alive in spirit, open to growth no matter the calendar's page. If you've journeyed with me all the way to this point in our conversation, that in itself is a testament to the inner strength you possess. After all, someone weaker might have clicked away at the first challenging habit we discussed, dismissing it as too tough, or not for me. Yet here you are, having absorbed it all, which signals a genuine desire within you to evolve and embrace change. But now comes the pivotal question. What will you do with this awareness when tomorrow dawns? You'll awaken to a fresh day, facing a clear fork in the road. Either slip back into the familiar grooves of those old, limiting habits, or courageously take that inaugural step toward a renewed existence brimming with potential. And remember, that first step doesn't have to be a monumental leap that shakes the world. There's no pressure for grand gestures right away. Begin modestly, and build from there. Jot down one specific, attainable goal that excites you. Tackle a single task you've been postponing to gain that quick win. Choose to celebrate someone's achievement rather than letting envy take root, and affirm to yourself with conviction, this life of mine is my responsibility to shape. No more shifting blame. Each and every day presents an opportunity to lay another brick in the foundation of your future home. What kind of structure do you envision it becoming? The choice rests squarely with you. Drawing once more from the well of Jewish wisdom that has sustained our people through centuries. Who is wise? The one who learns valuable lessons from every person they encounter. Who is rich? The one who finds joy and contentment in what they already possess. And who is strong? The one who triumphs over their own inner impulses and weaknesses. Let these words sink in. True strength isn't something external to chase. It's already residing within you, waiting to be awakened through mindful choices. And as a practical nudge, take a quiet moment right now to identify which single habit from the 10 we've explored is currently the biggest roadblock in your path. Write it down on a piece of paper and make a solemn promise to yourself. I will begin addressing and transforming this starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, but right here in this moment. That's how real, lasting change takes root, through small, consistent steps woven into your daily rhythm. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me in this conversation and truly listening. This isn't mere idle chatter for me. It's sharing the hard-earned insights from my own lived experiences, the ups and downs that have shaped who I am. If even one listener walks away inspired to shift a single habit, then our time together has been profoundly worthwhile. But rest assured, this is far from the end of our dialogue. Ahead lie many more enriching discussions where we'll delve into timeless wisdom, practical strategies for constructing a fulfilling life, cultivating inner strength, nurturing the next generation with care, and holding on to faith even when storms rage around us. So, if this resonates with you, and you're eager to continue this journey of growth side by side, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new video release. I envision this space as a welcoming haven, where each of you can discover renewed strength, feel a sense of community knowing you're not alone in your struggles, and draw from a wellspring of inspiration and knowledge that's been tested and proven across centuries. Consider this. We so often squander precious time on fleeting distractions like endless social media scrolls, sensational news headlines, or unproductive complaints. But imagine the profound impact if you invested just a few minutes each day in absorbing genuine wisdom. It could reshape your entire life trajectory for the better. And as a final, empowering reminder, a weak person endlessly hunts for excuses to justify stagnation. A strong one actively seeks out paths to progress. The weak await the perfect tomorrow that never arrives. The strong seize the present and act decisively. The weak shy away from change out of fear. The strong embrace it and create their own transformations. So, my friend, who do you aspire to be in this story? Answer that question with brutal honesty deep within yourself. And if your heart chooses strength, then welcome aboard. We'll walk this path together, supporting one another every step of the way. What's that very first actionable step you're committing to right now? Let's make it happen. And remember to like this video if it sparked something positive in you. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts or the habit you're tackling first, and share it with friends who could use this boost. Together, we can inspire real change.